This video will show you how to go through the exercise in the Onshape Learning Center called Basic Assembly. So you're going to want to start here by clicking on the link in the classroom or here on the exercise slides. It'll bring you to here. You're going to have to make a copy because right now it's read only. And I suggest you put your name at the end of this, Miss G. And now what you're going to want to do is down here under the plus, you want to create a new assembly. I'm going to right click down here and say rename, and we are going to call it hydraulic clamp. And hopefully you spelled it right, unlike what I did. So that sets the name of that specific assembly. Now we still have a blank assembly, so we're going to insert some parts. I already have this part studio open, obviously, because it's all part of the same document. So if we click up here on the high level, it's going to insert all of these parts. You can see that it says inserted 4. Now we're going to hit the green check up here rather than clicking anywhere. If I click anywhere in the graphics window, you can see it's placing it wherever I happen to click. Whereas if I put it on the green check, it will automatically put it on the origin. So I'm going to do that. All right, but if you remember, nothing is actually fixed in space. It's located on the origin, but no mate has been created yet. So we want the cylinder to be our grounded part. So I'm going to right click on cylinder and hit fix. And that makes our cylinder the grounded part. As you can see from this little picture there, that's telling you that that is the part that is fixed to the ground. Okay, so we need 2 of these O-rings. If you remember when we were doing the part studios, we said don't put multiple parts of the same part in the part studio because we'll do that in the assembly. So this is where we're going to do this. So I'm going to right click on O-ring and say copy. And now I'm going to come over here anywhere in the graphics window, right click, and there it is, paste O-ring. And just click it down anywhere for now. The next thing we're going to do is mate the plunger to the swing arm. But to isolate those so that we can see everything but that, I am going to hide everything but those 2 components. So I'm going to just click the eyeball next to those 3 components, and now you'll see we have these 3 components here. I'm actually going to move the swing arm out of the way here just so that I know for sure I'm getting the mate connection points that I want. So we're going to hit the Fasten Mate. That will make it so that there is no motion between these 2 parts. And I'm going to pick this top surface, making sure that the blue line is pointing upright to indicate the z-axis that I want. And then I'm going to pick this surface here and make sure you get the center mate connection point. So if you noticed, I just hovered over this surface on the top and then came over to the center to make sure it picks the center of that circle. And now you can see it brought those 2 parts together. And the center of the hole is now lined up with the center of the plunger. And I'll just hit the green check. You can hit it here or here. Okay, now I'm going to turn those other parts back on so that I can see them. And it's okay that this is hanging out over there. We're going to move that later. So now we're going to mate the O-rings to the cylinder. I'm actually going to move the O-ring out just so that you can see what we're trying to get at. So you can see this little round groove in here. That's where the O-ring needs to be placed. Okay, next I am going to create a cylindrical mate between these two parts, the cylinder and the plunger. And what that will do is it'll allow the plunger to slide and rotate around in the cylinder. So we're going to pick the cylindrical mate, which is this one. And the two components you want, or the two surfaces you want, is this bottom surface in here, but you can see it's giving me a little trouble there. So I'm going to actually section view this so that I can see it better. And I want to section view it from a plane going through the part. Okay, and if you want to create a section view and you don't have the plane you're looking for, you can just pick this cylindrical surface and it assumes it wants you to section it down the middle. And now I'm going to hit this cylindrical mate again. And this way you can see that you're getting the exact right connection point. So I'm going to pick that and this bottom here. And now you can see that it put the bottom of the plunger right up against the bottom here, which is what we want, but we actually want to allow a little motion. So we're going to turn on the limits here, which will allow us to let it move in the Z direction. So we actually want this to be -40, and this can be 0, so that sets the distances that we want. By saying 0, it means that this bottom of the plunger can't go through the part, so the minimum distance between them will be 0, and the maximum distance will actually be a -40, so it'll allow it to go away from that in 40 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to hit the green check. And now you can see that it updates any associated mates once you accept the mate. So that's why that top piece did not follow the plunger right away. And now if I grab this piece, you can see that I'm allowed to rotate the part and it can go up and down. It'll go through the travel of 0 to 40 millimeters away from the bottom. Now to get the mass properties right, what you're going to want to do is extend this piece the whole way up from the bottom. And then what we're going to look for is just the center of mass in the Z direction, which is the up and down, because we're not going to have you set the rotation correctly since that's somewhat arbitrary. So once you're done, just click on the mass properties and get your center of mass in the Z direction. And that's it for now.